So you might have heard lately that there is an evil Venezuelan gang all around the world called Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua is supposedly a transnational, criminal organization on the level of the cartels, and now all the Venezuelans are from this group. So I just want to make clear, Tren de Aragua does not exist as these people are talking about it. It literally isn't a thing. It's straight up made up. What it was like a relatively minor prison gang in Venezuela. At one point, it is spurious to say whether it even exists or not now. The Venezuelan migrants were, for a time, useful. They needed them, and most of them were right-wingers who were very anti-Venezuelan government, as, not so much out of fault for themselves, but rather because, the situation they were coming from, they're from a country that's things are going terrible, and they leave because they know that it's terrible, and the government at the time is Nicolas Maduro, left-wing guy, and they're like, okay, I hate left-wing guys now. I'm a right-winger. So a lot of them left for that reason because, the economy was shit in Venezuela. And it was very difficult to drum up anti-immigrant sentiment for them because those who usually go for the anti-immigrant sentiment fundamentally agreed with them on a lot of political issues. So it was kind of like, these migrants are different. These ones are good. These are the ones who are on our side. But then Trump comes in this time around and he's like, I just hate all migrants. I hate anyone who's not white, basically. And they need some sort of excuse to get rid of them. So they need some sort of excuse to demonize Venezuelans in particular because there's a lot of them. So the way that they do this is they find the boogeyman, which is this gang. This gang, which at most is a gang. To be clear, the way that they're framing this, that is like a transnational criminal organization. Venezuela is cartel territory. You can't have these small-time gangs there. Nothing like it could ever exist there. They would get fucking destroyed immediately. These gangs like MS-13, they are small. They are nothing compared to the cartels. The cartels are real businesses. They're like quasi-pseudo governments. You cannot have gangs anywhere where they operate. Because they have their own police forces and shit, basically. They control all the territory where these gangs could possibly crop up. They cannot be meaningfully challenged. What Tren de Aragua actually was like a prison gang, basically. Maybe some people who were once in the gang moved elsewhere, sure, but the way they frame it, it's like this is a transnational drug trafficking operation. No, the transnational drug trafficking operation is in the hands of people who are way more important than these guys. People who the US government would honestly be afraid to touch in a lot of cases. So the entire narrative about them being this powerful international force in Venezuela is fucking bullshit. They could never have been. But what was needed here was some sort of justification to turn against the Venezuelan immigrants who previously were off limits because they were right wingers, a lot of them, because they shared your political beliefs. So we need something new. Okay, they're members of a gang, evil gang, terrorists. Deport them to fucking El Salvador, which obviously in of itself is insane as well. Just deport them to Venezuela if you're going to deport them. Deporting them to El Salvador is it's like torture for the sake of torture, obviously. Maduro also played a part in this as well, by the way. Maduro has for a long time tried to claim that a lot of the people who leave Venezuela do it because they are criminals. He tries to frame a lot of the refugees who leave Venezuela as criminals. And originally it was no, they're not criminals. They're just people seeking better opportunities. But now that it has become convenient to do so, you have them being you know what? You said they're criminals, and they are. And this shit is spreading to Argentina now. You have to understand that, Milei is so desperate to be Trump. So Milei declared Tren de Aragua a terrorist organization, and now the justice minister, or defense, whatever the fuck she is, Patricia Bullrich, who is an insane character. Every 2 months, what Patricia Bullrich does is she sends the cops to arrest a random guy with a beard and claim that he's an Islamist terrorist. And then when it gets to the courts, the guy gets released immediately because it's just a random guy. She does it because she knows that the media is going to report on the arrest as if it was real, but they will not report on the fact that it was fake later on. In Argentina, there is no Islamic terrorism, there is no Tren de Aragua, there's none of this shit, but she desperately wants there to be. So she tries to spread the idea that there is. So now, there was a Venezuelan who committed a petty robbery, he robbed a store or something. And now, according to her, this guy is a member of the fearsome Tren de Aragua gang. Now, isn't that kind of weird that this fearsome transnational gang involved in all these criminal activities, they just randomly rob people? Serious criminal gangs don't just rob random people on the fucking street. They make billions of dollars from the drug trade. They don't need to do this shit. They wouldn't do this shit. What the fuck are you talking about? So it's like a random Venezuelan immigrant commits a crime, and she's like, let's call him a member of Tren de Aragua because the Americans are doing it. It's spreading. It's just a way to demonize immigrants. Like they're trying to import the American-style anti-immigrant shit to Argentina now. First they tried it with the Muslims and no one cares because there's no Muslims in Argentina. You can't do it. But there are Venezuelans. So they're trying it with the Venezuelans now. Which ironically, a lot of the Venezuelans love Milei because they're just anti-left. So they're going against their own team here. Just because Trump is doing it and they just really want to be like Trump. So this guy is, according to Bullrich, who is not a reliable source, he robbed some cell phones and he stole $10,000. This is not what an international criminal organization does. This is like, it's such a bullshit narrative. An international criminal organization of the supposed like breadth and like power of Tren de Aragua as it's sold would not be stealing $10,000. They wouldn't be stealing at all. They would have moved past and need to do that sort of thing. The entire narrative is bullshit, obviously. So yeah, I just wanted to cover this because functionally, if this gang exists, it's like a prison gang in Venezuela, and maybe some people who were once in that prison gang moved to other countries. That is it at most. The idea that this gang still exists and is carrying out like these relatively small-scale robberies all the way in the US and Argentina is insane, obviously. It doesn't fucking exist. It's just not a thing, basically.